Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story so dark and chilling that it's hard to believe it actually happened. But it did. And what's even more shocking is that it directly inspired one of the most popular series of recent times, Squid Game. Have you ever thought that behind the deadly games, uniforms, and those colorful hallways in the series, there might be a real-life connection? Well, there is. Today, we're uncovering the story of Brothers Home, a real place in South Korea that left an indelible mark on the country's history. So, buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get ready for a deep dive into this unbelievable narrative. Let's get started. When Squid Game premiered, it captivated audiences worldwide with its unique storyline, deadly games, and profound social commentary. But what many people don't know is that several elements of the series weren't purely fictional. They were drawn from real-life events in South Korea. The story we're exploring today isn't just dark. It also raises questions about morality and the limits of humanity. And yes, we're talking about uniforms, shared dormitories, labyrinthine hallways, and even forced activities that have an unsettling connection to the series. If you're ready to learn the details, stick around until the end because this story deserves to be told. To understand the origins of Brothers Home, we need to go back in time to the end of the Korean War in the 1950s. The war left the peninsula divided, and South Korea was in ruins, grappling with a severe economic and social crisis. Thousands of people were left homeless, and the streets of major cities were filled with orphans, beggars, and informal workers. In response, the South Korean government began implementing policies aimed at cleaning up the streets. While these measures were framed as welfare programs, they were, in reality, more about suppression. People deemed undesirable were rounded up and sent to detention centers to remove them from public view. One of the most infamous of these facilities was Brothers Home, which was far from the rehabilitation center it claimed to be. Brothers Home, located in Busan, South Korea, became one of the most notorious centers under this policy. From the outside, it looked like just another institution, but inside, it was a place of horror. Individuals were confined under inhumane conditions, forced to live in overcrowded dormitories, and subjected to strict rules enforced with brutal consequences. Here's where we start to see parallels with Squid Game. The uniforms worn by the inmates at Brothers Home were eerily similar to those in the series, greenish, simple, and uniform. Even the dormitories, filled with bunk beds, mirrored the communal sleeping arrangements seen in the show. What made Brothers Home so horrifying were the constant human rights violations. Inmates, who ranged from children to the elderly, were subjected to forced labor in grueling conditions. There were also countless reports of physical and psychological abuse, as well as instances of sexual violence. Another connection to Squid Game lies in the games and activities the inmates were forced to participate in. While they weren't the deadly competitions depicted in the series, the activities were so physically demanding and dangerous that they often resulted in serious injuries or even death. Abuse was a constant, and life in Brothers Home was a living hell with no escape. One of the most iconic visuals in Squid Game is the colorful, maze-like hallways with interconnected staircases. Shockingly, this detail also has its roots in Brothers Home. While the real location wasn't as stylized as in the series, its narrow corridors, connected staircases, and confined spaces bear a striking resemblance. The creator of the series clearly drew inspiration from this design, expanding it with visual effects to create a more theatrical atmosphere. Another fascinating aspect is the design of the guards in Squid Game. Although the masks and symbols on the uniforms were unique to the series, The concept of hooded guards in uniform has parallels in Brothers Home. The supervisors there wore uniforms that, while simpler, shared a similarly intimidating presence. In the 1980s, complaints from families and eyewitnesses began to uncover the horrors of Brothers Home. In 1986, a deeper investigation revealed that over 650 people had died inside the facility, many of them buried secretly or cremated. This revelation sparked outrage across South Korea and led to the center's eventual closure. The perpetrators faced trials for crimes against human rights, but for many of the victims, justice came far too late. Brothers Home was abandoned, but its ruins remain a haunting reminder of the atrocities that occurred there. When comparing Brothers Home to Squid Game, it's impossible not to ask, how much does the series reflect this real-life story? While Squid Game is a work of fiction, the influence of events like this is undeniable. The series uses these elements to pose profound questions about inequality, exploitation, and abuse of power. With Squid Game's third season on the horizon, fans are speculating whether the series will delve into themes similar to the discovery and dismantling of Brothers Home. Could the island in the series be exposed to the world, or will it remain shrouded in mystery, like so many dark events in real life? And that was the chilling story of Brothers Home, the real-life inspiration behind Squid Game. It's a stark reminder that reality can often be more disturbing than fiction. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments what you think about this connection between the series and real life. See you in the next video.